My name is Hamsa Hassan, and today I'm going to be presenting the long-term effects of exercise on the body. So in this assignment I will be covering the long-term effects of exercise. This will consist of the musculoskeletal, respiratory, cardiovascular and energy systems. So musculoskeletal system. The long-term effects of exercise in the musculoskeletal system will consist of these: increased bone calcium, increased in tendon strength and ligament stretch, increased thickness of hyaline cartilage, increased glycogen and fat stores, increased muscle strength, increased tolerance to lactic acid, hypertrophy, increased in myoglobin stores, increased in number of mitochondria, increased production of synovial fluid. So increased bone calcium. Bone calcium increases during the long-term exercise. The increase of bone calcium would help the bone to get stronger and to keep them a lot healthier. The increase of bone calcium would avoid bones from becoming fragile, and the deficiency of bone calcium can lead to very fragile bones. Increased in tendon strength and ligament stretch. Tendons are tissues that allow to attach the muscles to bones, and ligaments will allow bones to join with other bones. This will allow more movement of bones and avoid lactic acid building in your muscles. This will prevent fatigue. Increase in thickness of hyaline cartilage. Hypertrophy and tendon strength are both associated to the increase of thickness in hyaline cartilage. The main function of the cartilage is to protect the bones from wearing out. The hyaline cartilage in the knee joint absorbs shock when your feet connect to the surface. Regular long-term exercises causes cartilage to become thicker. This decreases the risk of injuries and bone-related diseases such as arthritis. Increased glycogen and fat stores. Glycogen is known as another form of carbohydrates. Fat is known as the substance used up for energy. This is found in the muscles where all the fat is stored from food digested. The long-term exercise would increase the demand for energy. The body adapts by increasing glycogen and fat stores. When glycogen is converted to glucose, it helps the body to create more energy. When fat is stored, it stays in the muscles for future activities to boost the athlete's performance. Increased muscle strength. During long-term exercise, the muscle strength increases sport activities such as weightlifting, which increases the muscle strength as pressure is put on the muscles. When the muscles go through hypertrophy, they become stronger as the muscles tear, repair, and get bigger and stronger for the future exercises. So in relation to athletes, cyclists will take full advantage of this as they will be able to cycle a lot quicker and a lot further distances. Increased tolerance to lactic acid. Lactic acid is the substance that is known as the waste product that causes fatigue in the muscles. Lactic acid is created when the energy in your body is used up and anaerobic respiration is taking place. Long-term exercises get used to the body as it will become a lot more tolerant to lactic acid, and so it will manage the body. The body would work a lot better as it would get rid of lactic acid and faster, and it will increase blood flow. Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is the tearing of muscles. When the muscles tear, they come back bigger and stronger. There would be an increase in micro tears and an increase in size bulk. Proteins help repair the muscles and make them grow stronger. The protein are from the food digested and stored in the muscles. Increase the myoglobin stores. Myoglobin is a form of protein. Its function is to transport oxygen and minerals to mitochondria. When you carry out a long-term exercise, the demands for oxygen increases. There is also an increase in endurance during long-term exercises. Increase in the number of mitochondria. Mitochondria is mainly based in body cells. Mitochondria is a production of energy. It combines oxygen and glucose to create energy. This is an increase of number of mitochondria, space to store ATP, and demand for oxygen. The increase in number of mitochondria would be beneficial for athletes as they would perform long-term exercises for longer. Increased in production of synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is a substance that lubricates the joints. Exercises decrease risk of injuries as the making of fluid increases. This helps the bones prevent from rubbing against each other, which causes pain, and synovial fluid makes this fluid more thicker and pliable during long-term exercises. It allows a large range of movement and around joints. In relation to athletes, swimmers or marathon runners take full advantage as they are less likely to get injured. Cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular system would consist of the cardiac hypertrophy, increase in cardiac output, decrease in resting heart rate, capillarization, increase in stroke volume, increase in blood volume, reduced resting blood pressure, decreased recovery time, and increased aerobic fitness. Cardiac output. Cardiac hypertrophy. Cardiac hypertrophy is known as the thickening of heart muscles. When you do long-term exercises, blood would pump around the body more excessively. The heart would pump a lot more blood around the body quicker, and the pump will become more forceful. The heart adapts to this after some time, so it will use a lot less force to pump more blood around the body. The left ventricle would become larger in size and would get stronger. Increase in cardiac output. Cardiac output is the quantity of blood pumped around the body in 1 minute. During a long-term exercise, it causes an increase in cardiac output. This is mainly due to the fact that the heart rate and stroke volume is increased. The heart undergoes hypertrophy, which makes it come back a lot more stronger. It can pump a lot more blood around the body in 1 minute than normal. If there is a high cardiac output, it means more energy is coming to the working muscles, and an athlete's muscles will get oxygen a lot more faster, and they will be able to keep exercising for longer periods of time and in a high intensity. Decrease in resting heart rate. Resting heart rate is the normal heart rate of a person. Over a long time after you start exercising regularly, the heart will become more efficient, meaning that it will pump more blood around the body. Less energy and forceful pumps are needed to transport large amounts of blood, oxygenated blood around the body. The resting heart rate would decrease as the body becomes more faster in using oxygen. Capillarization. Capillarization is the increase of number of capillaries in the body, and it is a result of long-term exercise. It allows a lot more blood to flow around the body, meaning that oxygen and energy for the muscles will help the person to perform long-term exercises for a longer period of time. Increase in stroke volume. Stroke volume is the amount of blood pumped in one contraction. When the size of the heart increases, the blood capacity inside the heart would also increase. This means that there would be more blood that is pumped around the body. This can only happen over a regular long-term exercise. More oxygen would be available for the muscles as it will last longer, as it will last the person longer to exercise. increased in blood volume. Blood volume is the overall amount of blood in the body. When you finish the long-term exercise, blood volume would also increase because of capillarization. If there is more capillaries, it means that there is more space to store energy and transport oxygenated blood around the body. Reduced resting blood pressure. When you exercise, more blood is being pumped around the body and faster than normal. Blood pressure increases, which puts much more stress on the heart and blood vessels. During long-term exercises, will decrease the time it takes for blood pressure to drop back to its normal levels. Decreased recovery times and increased aerobic fitness. Recovery time is how long it takes for an athlete to go back to his or her normal physical state after a period of exercise. Carrying out a regular long-term exercise causes reduced recovery time. The body will repair itself a lot faster. Aerobic exercise will be more efficient as the heart and lungs increase in size and capacity to get up to the increased load for oxygen by the body during long-term exercises. Athletes can benefit from this because they can last longer when using aerobic respiration. This is due to the lungs getting bigger. Respiratory systems. These will consist of the increased vital capacity, increased minute ventilation, increased strength of respiratory muscles, increased oxygen diffusion rate, increased in vital capacity. Vital capacity is the full amount of air that is inhaled and exhaled during respiration. Carrying out regular exercises would make your lung more efficient and stronger. This will result in more oxygen entering your body. There would be more diffusion and less buildup of waste products, for example, carbon dioxide and lactic acid. More oxygen would then be available to the muscles that need it the most. Increased in minute ventilation. Minute ventilation is the amount of air a person inhales in 1 minute. When carrying out a long-term exercise, breathing rate would increase due to the increased demand of oxygen by the working muscles. The respiratory system would work a lot harder over regular long-term exercises. This would mean that more oxygen is inhaled and more carbon dioxide is exhaled. Increased strength of respiratory muscles. These will consist of the lung, the diaphragm, and the intercostal muscles, which are between the ribs. The three things will become more efficient as they get used to long-term exercises, as they get stronger and can go on for longer periods of time. The chest cavity would also increase and the lung would expand. This will increase gases exchange. In relation to athletes, it will be more beneficial for them as the athletes can go on for longer periods of time. This will decrease fatigue in the muscles. Increased oxygen diffusion rate. Diffusion rate is known as the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the alveolus. The long-term effect of this is that it will increase diffusion rate as gases exchange occurs commonly. The increase of capillarization results in more blood volumes in the body and stronger systems. Energy systems. Increased aerobic and anaerobic enzymes. Increased use of fat for energy. Increased aerobic and anaerobic enzymes. An increase in the size and quality of mitochondria in the body means that there is also an increase in the number of enzymes. The enzyme's job is to increase the amount of energy that is used while long-term exercises. The enzymes that help produce energy when the athlete is using the lactic acid system will also increase. An increase of anaerobic enzymes can cause fatigue in the muscles. Increase of fat for energy. Fat is the oily substance found in the human body. It is known as the main source of energy during low intensity exercises. When the glycogen stores run out, fat becomes the main source of energy rather than glucose. Athletes can take advantage of this as they can go on for longer periods of time without fatiguing the muscles. Thank you for listening to my presentation.